I want you to know a little bit about Gary and his involvement concerning military. He's in the Army Military Police, 6 years from 1978 to 1984 as ranking sergeant. With the American Legion Veterans Organization, 12 years. He's been the post commander for 3 years, currently post chaplain. Active member of the Honor Flight, staff member. Participated in all 14 flights, raised money in the flight as a guardian and escort when they came home. And so, Brother Gary, appreciate you, brother.
It ain't about me. Veterans Day is, I guess, about all of us, David, Don, all of us that have served. But today is not about us. It's about those veterans that didn't come home. We just want to remember those men and women, what they have done for our freedom, for their lives, the courage, and then remember their families at the time. Can't go and thank them for what they've done. Their families, think about them, pray for their families. We want to just talk about their sacrifice, what they have done for the country, and how it maybe shaped our lives, how it molded us. Let's go to Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this day, Lord. Number one, I just want you to be in this service and me. You do the preaching, Lord. You know I'm scared to death. I'm nervous, and Lord, let's ask you to take over the nerves, just take over, and just let me be calm, just let me preach your word, what you want me to say, Lord. I just want to thank you for our veterans that have served, that have gone into battle, and Lord, some of them never come home. And ones that did come home are in body bags. Lord, that's who we're honoring today. And most of all, Lord, we're going to honor you for being our Savior. We ask these things in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I'm going to go to John 15, verse 13, and like I had on the screen. That's where I'm mostly going to be reading, John 13 and some of 15. I'll paraphrase a lot of it, but as we know, John 15, 13 is used a lot, especially when someone dies in the military, someone, even police, fire, EMS is used. But greater love has no man than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. Has a lot to say with someone's character, someone's way they've been raised. And I'll get more into that in just a minute. But I want to give you a few statistics here in just a minute. Actually, how many military veterans we have lost in the wars. Going back, won't go back all the way, but we'll go back to World War II. 116,516. That's World War I. World War II, 405,399. Go to Korean War, 54,246. Vietnam War, 58,209. At the Gulf War, we had 294 that died. And then presently, the Iraq-Afghanistan wars, 6,717. And I think that's up to date. I know we had one that died a month ago. And at our American Legion, we paid tribute to him. But I also want to point out, and I was astonished at these numbers here, we also want to think about our military that never came home. The prisoner of wars, missing in action. 82,729. I was just, that just floored me when I looked at that statistic. That's a lot of people that's never come home. That's a lot of people that's probably have been in prisoner of war camps. A lot of people got killed, and maybe mass murder, mass shootings. A lot of them are buried in mass graves. We don't know where they're at. But that's just something to think about. I mean, that's a lot of people. A lot of people that well, that's who we're talking about today. All these men and women answered the call of service to serve their country. You know, they left the comfort of home. They left their house. They left their family, their spouse, their children. They had anything that meant anything to them. They took off and left it. And hopefully people will stand behind taking care of things. We know back in World War II, the women stepped up and they went into the factories where the men were. A lot of people at that time had a lot of good jobs. You know, you had lawyers, doctors. A lot of people answered the call to duty. And they left everything behind. They put their life on hold just to answer the call of their nation. You know, many of them knew what was going to happen. Many of them went into the service, wartime. I went in 1978. Vietnam had just finished. Fall of Saigon was in 75. When I went in, I knew there wasn't a war going on, but that could be. Several things happened. Grenada, Lebanon barracks, bombing at the time. I got out in 84. But I knew when I went in, even though there wasn't an active war going on, I knew there could be. I knew I could be called up any time. These people, especially when war was going on, they knew what they were getting into. And they answered the call of their nation. They knew they were getting into harm's way. They knew they were going to leave the comfort of their house. Like I said, families, jobs, and everything. And they enlisted and went in, knowing that they could get shot, get hurt, bombed, or something like that. And they knew they may die. They knew they may even be taken into custody, captive, become POW. They knew the danger. They went anyway. They fought anyway, and they knew what freedom was. They knew it wasn't free. You know, even in Vietnam, you had the draft going on. A lot of them went to Canada or whatever. But those that answered that call, they answered the call. Maybe that wasn't their choice. Maybe they waited until they got drafted, but they answered that call. And they went on. And they fought. And a lot of them didn't come home. A lot of them, like I said, didn't want to be there, but they went anyway. And going back to John 15, 13, like I said, that's used a lot, and we need to think about that. But try to think where that come from. One thing here at the school, they teach us, okay, there's a verse, but what was going on and what that verse means. But what was going on at the time of Jesus might have said that, or why it happened in the Bible. And you look at during that time, go back to John 13:1, and like I said, I'm paraphrasing a lot of this, but Jesus knew his time had come. He knew he was in his final days here on earth. He wanted to have at least one more last lesson with him, sitting down with his disciples and trying to teach them something about himself. He goes into where he wanted to humble himself to his disciples. And it's where you have the feet washing, verses 3 through 15. It talks about Jesus offers to wash his disciples' feet. And even Peter says, no, 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 you're not washing my feet. And Jesus says, yes, if I don't wash your feet, you're not a part of me. And of course, Peter says, go ahead. But Jesus was teaching the disciples to humble themselves. Now, Peter's probably thinking, I don't know, maybe he just didn't want him touching his feet, a pride issue or something like that. But he probably also was thinking, you're God, you're Jesus. You're not going to stoop down to do that menial labor like that, or in some type of manual labor. But Jesus was convincing them that, hey, yes, I'm Jesus, I'm your master, but I can be a servant. And that's the reason he comes to this earth, to be a servant, to serve us. After he washed their feet, what does he do? He tells them, now, you need to become a servant also. You need to become a servant. And he teaches them how to wash each other's feet. But God humbled himself, King of kings, Lord of lords. He humbled himself and became a servant. And he wants his servants to humble themselves and serve mankind too. In John 13, verses 31 and 35, get to that. Jesus is telling us about how we should love one another. 31 says, so when he had gone out, Jesus said, now the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and glorify him in me. Little children, I say, I shall be with you a little while longer. You will seek me, and as I said to the Jews, where I am going, you cannot come. So now I say to you, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. Jesus said not only become a servant to serve mankind, he also, he's saying love each other. I can serve you, but I don't really care nothing about you. If I got to serve you, okay. The food pantry was talking about that earlier. I can go in, I can bring you some food. I can put that in there. I can serve you. But you got to love. You got to have some, they want food again. You got to have that in your heart. You got to bring that and want to serve people. You want to love people. Jesus is telling that in this word here. Jesus not only wanted, like I said, to serve and to love, he wanted us to love him, and he wants us to love everybody from there. In verse 38, it continues on in verse 38, going back to 37, Jesus is telling them he's going to be leaving soon. He's told them to become servants. He's told them to love each other, and now he's going to be leaving them. So he's giving them some instructions. Simon Peter is talking about, said to him, Lord, where are you going? Jesus answered, where I am going, you cannot follow me now, but you shall follow me afterwards. And that's a big thing. We might not can leave right when Jesus was left, ascended. We're going to live our lives here on earth, but we can meet him. We can go with him sometime when we die. Peter said to him, Lord, why can I not follow you now? I will lay down my life for your sake. Peter said he'll lay down his life for him. And that's what we're talking about here, laying down your life for someone else. Jesus answered him, will you lay down your life for my sake? Most surely I say to you, the rooster shall not crow till you have denied me 3 times. Jesus saying, will you really lay down your life for me? Will you become a servant? Do you really love me? You're saying this, but will it really happen? Will you really lay down your life for me? We have to ask that question. our military going into war, obviously, they're not going to be servants to the enemy. They don't love the enemy, but they want to be servants to our country, our nation. They want to be servants to all of us for our freedom. They're showing their love for us. They are willing to lay down their life for their fellow man. The remaining, John chapter 15, 9 through 14, talks about Jesus being the vine and we're the branches. We got to love Jesus. We got to be a servant to Him. Jesus says in verse 15, going back to 12, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I love you. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends." You know, Jesus, like I said, became a servant. Even though He was master, He loved His fellow men. He loved His disciple. He loved the world. Man should love his fellow man also, just like Jesus. I mean, Jesus has given us the perfect example. Man should love him, as I said, his fellow men. And our military shows that. I mean, and I could say police, firemen, firemen who wants to go into a burning house. I've had to do that, but I wouldn't. My hat's off to firemen. I wouldn't do that. That's scary. I'd rather confront a man with a gun than confront a house. I have. My hat's off to the firemen, EMS. But our military says, yeah, I confront you. You know, what we as citizens, as the public, we fear military, police, fire, EMS, they go too. They run toward. My wife called me the other day, said there was a car upside down on Brazil Road. She said, "You better call somebody." I said, "Okay." Well, she's driving away. She's wanting to get out of there. And I told her, I said, "Get on out of there." Well, I started to call and I heard the sirens. Well, the sirens are going that way. They're going there. That's what our military does. When something bad happens overseas, here at home, wherever, they run to that area. They don't back up. They don't run away. They go to serve us, serve our fellow man. They go take on that problem, whatever that problem is. You know, we think about that. We think about Jesus, what He's done. You know, Bill mentioned earlier, but several times been mentioned what our Savior has done for us. You know, we can think about that. You know, our soldiers left home, willing to die for our freedom. Jesus left heaven. I mean, yeah, we think about our home. You think about your home. Would you want to get up from your home and go and live in a tent? Would you want to go and live in those shipping containers? My son-in-law lived in those when he was in Iraq. They made those shipping containers into pallets, if you want to call it that. The comfort of heaven. I mean, just think about that. Jesus left there, come down there, left, glory, left paradise to come down here. As our soldiers go to war to fight evil, Saddam Hussein, all the bad people of the world, Jesus left heaven to come fight Satan. Fight against sin. And when He left heaven, He was willing to die for us, willing to die for our salvation. I want to say one thing, and I tell you, going through those videos, I was every time I watched one, I wanted to play that one. I watched another one, play that one. We could have had an hour just watching those videos. You go on YouTube, Memorial Day tribute in and there are videos after videos and after videos, and they're all great. And I contemplated several of them. There was one that I recommend as far as the movie. Preacher asked me something about it, and I told him about it. I'm not here to promote movies, but if you want to watch a movie on what happens to our soldiers after they get killed and they come back home, watch the movie Taking Chance. I mean, that's a powerful movie. And if you watch it, one thing to notice when you watch it, they fly into an airport in Billings, Montana. And it shows that. All of us that went to mission trip in Montana, we flew into that airport. Well, some of it was filmed there. So it's a great movie if you ever want to watch it. I mean, it's sad, but it's our military gets killed and what the process they go through going to Dover Air Force Base, how they're taken care of, how they're cleaned up, how their uniform is put on, going through the airports, people just, showing their respect. And I want to touch on that. One thing about the respect, I'm going to say Don. I know Don probably, Don's a Vietnam veteran. If you want to honor somebody, honor Don. Don was shot. He's got a Purple Heart recipient. Those are the kind of veterans that we want to honor. But that is, even much as I respect Don, this is not his day. This is our veterans who actually died and found that it came close. I mean, he was shot. Praise the Lord, he wouldn't. We had him here with us. But our military, is just the thing that they go through. And nowadays, I can say the public loves our military. I've gone to airports, Atlanta, a lot of places I've been to. They just absolutely love when a soldier gets off the airplane, he's in uniform. They're standing ovation. They're clapping for him. I've been on an honor flight. I actually participated in every one of them, either going to the airport and welcoming them. We line up and salute them and everything. Or either actually going on the flight. I think I've been on the flight up there about 7 times. But when we leave the airport in the early mornings, there's bands there. We get to Washington, D.C., there's bands there. We escort these veterans, push them in wheelchairs, people stopping on the side of the road and shaking their hands. And the public really, and I've been involved with several escorts, the soldiers who got killed, and they come in during Spartanburg Airport, got to go there and escort them home. People lined up on the road with flags and different things. We got the Marine veterans that go to Kiwiki every year. They line up and we escort them through the county. People lined up. That didn't happen when Don and them come home. They were spit on, cussed at. A lot of the soldiers, as soon as they landed in America, they went to the bathroom and changed clothes, put civilian clothes on so nobody would know who they were. They were treated terribly. I can say that our people now don't do that, and I'm so thankful for that. But one thing I want to close with is a movie called Saving Private Ryan. And probably most of you have watched that, but if you ever have a chance to watch it, the closing scenes were, well, going back, Private Ryan is in World War II. He's a paratrooper. He dropped on D-Day into France, but he had 4 brothers that was in the military also. All 4 of them brothers were killed during the D-Day invasion. A clerk sees this and sees that name Ryan, and she puts it all together and says, hey, there's one more brother out there. So the whole movie is about saving Private Ryan, going and finding him and getting him and bringing him home to safety. That names that family, so it will continue on. The mother's already lost 4 children. She didn't want to lose another one, of course. So the whole movie is going about trying to get him, capture him, get him, and take him back. But during this time, several of these soldiers get killed while they're looking for him. Several of them get killed. Well, they finally find him, and there's a Captain John Miller that's in charge of him. Once they find him, they want to get him back, but the problem is that they're under attack and everything. So eventually, this Captain Miller gets shot and gets killed. Well, Private Ryan is standing, and the last scene is standing there over his captain, and then it changes until present day. And he's standing there at the cemetery where Captain Miller was buried over in France at that cemetery, and it's just like Arlington is here. He's standing there and he's looking at that gravesite, and he's wondering, was this death worth it? Captain Miller and those other men died for me. Was it worth it? Did I live up to being worth him dying over? It was my life. How has my life been? Was him dying worth it? He comes, he's reflecting on what's happened since then, and he's thinking, I don't know if it was worth it or not. So his wife comes up to him and says, and was I a good man? Was my life basically worth someone else dying for? And of course she says it was. And when we have to think about that, our life, all these soldiers, and I say soldiers, Navy, Airmen, Marines, it's easy just to say soldiers, but all these soldiers that have died, has it been worth it? We as a nation have to look at that. I have to look at that. All those people, those 82,000 that's missing now, what have I done in my life to justify them living or dying? What have I done? Am I patriotic? Do I do things? Do I live my life right? We have to think about that. Was it worth those people dying for us? Now we have to think about Jesus. Jesus died on the cross. Again, he's the comfort of heaven. He come down to earth to teach us, walk with us, teach men how to act, how to be like him. Knowing that he was going to die on the cross. But he did it anyway. He went on his way. He took the devil on. And we know he died on the cross. He knew that when he was coming in. But he died on the cross for each and every one of us. And I have to think, was it worth it? Jesus, was it worth you dying? Because I have to think, am I doing right? Obviously, I can't stack up to Jesus, but I'm like, am I living my life right to be worthy of you dying for me? And we have to think about that. Throughout our life, every day, am I doing right? Am I glorifying you, Lord, for dying on the cross for me? We have to think about that. We have to think about that. We thank our veterans that what you did for us, and I think it is worth it, because our veterans died for freedom, died for us to be able to come up here and preach, and ain't got to worry about the government coming in and shutting us down. Well, hopefully we never have to worry about that. But our freedom, I can go get whatever job I want to, as long as I get that training and everything. I can if I have the money, I can take off to Myrtle Beach right now. I can do what I want to, basically. That freedom is because of our soldiers dying for us. But now, like I said, Jesus died for us. I know if I accept Jesus Christ as my Savior, it is worth it because I'm going to heaven. I got eternal salvation through Him. Is Him dying worth it? Yeah. I hate that somebody has to die. I hate that our military has to die. But what they died for is for us, each and every one of us. What Jesus did on the cross is for each and every one of us. His sacrifice, obviously, is the greatest thing in the world. He died for your friend, for your fellow countrymen. He died for each and every one of us. I'm going to close with that. Did Jesus die in vain for me? Was it worth it? Do I need to become a servant to my fellow men? Do I need to love my fellow men like Jesus said? My countrymen, my fellow legionnaires, my fellow military brothers and sisters, they became servants for me, for you, for all of us. They love each and every one of us. Because why in the world would you lay your life down, lay your life out on the line for somebody unless you love your country? And last, I have to do right by the Lord. I have to glorify Him, and He died for me. He died for you. And I just want to thank Him. Today, this weekend, in closing, have fun, do what you got to do. Enjoy the weekend. I talked to the sheriff's deputies this morning when I did the devotion. You know, they got a team that's working now. So obviously they don't have the weekend off, but they're off tomorrow. So they're off tomorrow anyway, but they get paid extra because it's a holiday pay. I said, when you get that money, when you spend it, just think about where it comes from. Think about the price someone pays, or you get that extra bit in your paycheck. Think about that price someone paid for you being off tomorrow from work. Think about that price that Jesus paid for you to go to heaven for eternal life.
Please stand. I think the invitation is clear. Great presentation.